friends, I'm Akash, and in this video I am here at the oldest and second largest city in Texas. This is the fastest growing city in the United States of America. I am here in the wonderful city of San Antonio. Now, San Antonio has 300 years of rich history and culture, being founded as a place for Spanish missions like this one, the Alamo. It was founded in 1718 and was actually named all the way back in 1691 after Saint Anthony of Padua, who was actually a Portuguese priest, given that this place was named by Spanish missions and Spanish missionaries. The place to be named Saint Anthony, San Antonio, is very interesting. Now, a quick history of San Antonio. Now, this place was pretty much used mostly as a place for Spanish missionaries to spread the word about Christianity. And so it kept that way for quite a while until a little while later, the Spanish handed over this area that is now we call Texas to the Mexicans. And the Mexicans kept it for a while until the Texan Revolution came along. As Texans began revolting for independence from Mexico, the Texas War of Independence began. And in 1835, the Texans managed to take the Alamo from the Mexicans. And a little while later, in 1836, something cool occurred here. And during February to March of 1836, the Mexicans, under the leadership of General Santa Anna, brutally murdered over 200 Texans right here inside the Alamo. The event is now known as the Battle of the Alamo. And despite the tragic events that occurred here in 1836, this ended up inspiring many more Texans to help join the war against Mexico. And sure enough, literally just a few months later, Texas, with the support of the United States of America, finally won the war for independence, and soon enough, the Republic of Texas was officially founded. Now, this Republic of Texas lasted for roughly 10 years before in 1846, the United States struck a deal with Texas, where the U.S. would annex the Republic of Texas. So, in 1846, the United States officially included Texas as the 28th state of the United States of America. Now, this means that San Antonio has played pretty much one of the most important roles in the history of Texas, which is incredible. And more specifically, the Alamo right here. This is where that cool battle occurred in 1836, and also where the battle for Texas ended, right here. Now, since then, of course, the Alamo and the area surrounding it has become, of course, a tourist destination to explore what happened during the Texas War of Independence. It's sort of become a museum for Texas, and that is absolutely incredible. Now, San Antonio is a wonderful city, and so I thought that it would be a great idea to let you join me on an interesting tour of all the famed highlights that San Antonio has to offer. So, let's take a look. Alright, so now I am currently at the wonderful San Antonio Riverwalk. Take a look at this place. You have trees, and of course you have the water, which is of the San Antonio River. Actually, you can see, if you look very closely, there's actually going to be a sort of gondola that's going to be coming in through to the river. And I mean, just look at this place. There's restaurants and shops, and basically this is so wonderful. I love every single inch of this place. It is like Venice came to America. This is what it looks like right here. This is the American Venice, and it's San Antonio Riverwalk. As you can see right here, this is the sort of gondola, like, you know, it's a sort of a way to, you know, travel through and experience what the river is actually like. Take a look at this. This is so cool. I love this place so much, and I'm super excited to tell you how this place came to be. And by the way, you can see all of the waves that come in the wake of that gondola of sorts, which is wonderful. See, look at this. This is so cool, and I really love it. Now, I'm going to talk about how this came to be, and this starts all the way back in 1921, where there was actually a widespread flood at this very location. It killed 50 people, and many more were injured. However, the good thing was that there were going to be some brand new flood protection mechanisms, and one of the original plans was to create a dam that would be there upstream, and then you would have to pave over the entirety of this one gigantic bend in the San Antonio River, this river. And so the idea was to pave over the San Antonio River and then create a storm sewer out of it. This was the original plan. They started working on it in 1926. The thing is, the San Antonio Conservation Society came along and pretty much said, hey, don't do that. So what they ended up doing was, well, not doing that. They didn't go for this paved sewer idea because the San Antonio Conservation Society wanted to conserve this river, which was a very important part of San Antonio. Now, they did end up building the dam. It's the Alamos Dam, and it's over upstream, but there were still questions on what to do with the river. This right here, by the way, is a panel of the Riverwalk. As you can see, it comes all the way from there near King William Historic District, all the way through this one curve area right here, all the way through this one bend, all the way down, squiggling its way down to the San Antonio Museum of Art, the Witta Museum, and Breckenridge Park and Zoo. Of course, as you can tell, there's also this one gigantic location right here, and also these two little passes. And as you can see, this right here, if I can find it, let's take a look right here. This is another one of the gondolas passing by. As you can see, this one's slightly larger. And then again, you have all of these coming in, and oh my God, there is another one passing by. So the original concept for this now, there were still questions back in the 1920s about what to do with this river, right? And what to do with specifically this gigantic bend in it. So the plan was made by a man named Robert Hugman in 1929. The original plan for this was to have something interesting, right? So the plan was, instead of having to pave over the whole bend, instead you could have a bypass. You could bypass this whole river, and then instead of paving over it, the plan was to simply put it in like this, put a floodgate on the northern side, put a smaller dam on the southern side, and then put another gate called a tainter gate in the middle to regulate the flow. And then, this is the genius of Robert Hugman's idea. He planned for something like this. Pretty much create an American version of Venice in Italy. The plan was to create restaurants and shops. It would be a gigantic place for commercial activity. It could be amazing. This view could be spectacular. This could be the next big place for people to go. You've seen Venice like this. This is America's Venice. This was Robert Hugman's idea, and no one liked it at the time because they thought perhaps it was too costly or something like that. No one really liked it, and it didn't catch on until the people came along, and the people of San Antonio really liked the idea that someday they could see an area that looks like this. With all sorts of places. It's a one gigantic tourist destination. And so, this place right here, it garnered support from people to begin to do something about this and to turn this into the next big place. And sure enough, in the 1940s, San Antonio decided they were going to make this. And so they did. And a couple years later, the San Antonio Riverwalk was officially built and opened. And from that time, it has been expanded multiple times into what you see now. So this is what the San Antonio Riverwalk looks like. It is absolutely majestic. So take a look at this amazing view of the San Antonio Riverwalk. You can actually see it's coming right now. Another one of the boats is, take a look at that right there. Look at the boats. Hello. Hi. Yay. There it is. That right there is one of the boats passing by in Riverwalk. This is the Venice of Texas, and absolutely love it. Hooray! Let's take a look at our next location, which is a little bit over there. We're gonna take a look at the Tower of the Americas. I am currently here right at the Tower of the Americas, a 750-foot tall observation tower with a rotating restaurant on the top, which is awesome. Now, take a look at just how tall this tower is. 750 feet tall, which is remarkable. Now, here we are. I'm currently here in the parking lot. As you can see, it's a little sparsely populated. I mean, that makes sense because, you know, the sun is like this, and if you just let it wait an hour and, you know, by the time nightfall comes, this whole place is going to be filled with cars, and the Tower of the Americas up above is going to look absolutely spectacular. It is a sight to behold at night. And so this right here is Tower of the Americas. Now, this 750 feet majesty of a tower right here was built in 1968 for the World's Fair that year, which was being held right here in San Antonio. It was called Hemisphere 68, a terribly made pun on hemisphere, and so the Hemisphere 68 had this as its main attraction. This right here, the Tower of the Americas, was its main attraction. As you can see it right here, this spectacle of a tower. At the top it has a revolving restaurant, so basically the whole restaurant, which is located at the top, is actually on a little platform that spins, so you can see all the scenery of San Antonio right from there. This is truly a wonderful sight to behold. And another thing I want to mention is the fact that there's actually SeaWorld San Antonio, which is the oldest operating of all the SeaWorlds, which is located just a little bit that way. And as well as that, there's also Six Flags Fiesta Texas, which is the San Antonio branch of the Six Flags amusement park, which actually began in Dallas and is named after the Six Flags over Texas, which are Spain, France, then Mexico, the United States, the Confederates, and finally the United States again. So this right here is the Tower of the Americas, and this concludes the trip to San Antonio, showing you all of the great scenery that you can find when you visit San Antonio. This is a wonderful city. This has been the oldest and second largest and one of the fastest growing cities in America, the oldest and second largest in Texas. This has been San Antonio. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching.